Let them speak. Review patterns 1 to 4. Please repeat or answer. Can't she come in? Has he got to take it? Who felt like telling her that? Is she going to be leaving? What has she done? What hasn't he been reading? Who was supposed to be coming back? Where should they go? Where shouldn't they go? Hasn't he eaten that? Weren't they able to talk to him? Weren't they thinking of giving it to her? Who decided to sell it? When is she going to be telling her? Wouldn't he like to finish it? Won't she be telling him? Weren't they supposed to rest? Who has she been dating? Who has left? Where did she get to dance? They had better not tell him. She ought to relax. Hasn't she got to watch TV? Doesn't he plan on going back? Who needs to know? What is she going to be buying? Isn't he supposed to be selling it? When couldn't they drive there? Who didn't know how to speak Spanish? Won't she try to explain it? Who plans on sitting there? Wasn't she going to be making lunch? Didn't he feel like eating supper? When would they like to drop by? What doesn't she like eating? Where will he probably take them? Didn't they decide to take the kids? Who better tell them? She ought to let him know. Who will be able to show her that? Shouldn't they have paid for it? Haven't they got to pay him back? Who had to rest? Who was supposed to be working there? They had better not give it to him. What will she probably send? Who planned on helping them? Weren't they able to save money? Where won't he be going? What shouldn't they eat? Where have they got to bring it? When will she come back to rest? What doesn't he plan to eat? Did they go over to talk to her? Won't she be able to stand there? Did you get to work with her? Who has got to clean it? Who was going to tell her? Who was going to be making supper? She better not lie. Who should they have helped? Where have they been? Where have you got to be tonight? Who decided to help them? Who didn't plan on taking a walk? Who went in to see it? Who probably wants it? Where was she able to rest? Didn't he plan on taking the bus? Should he have taken a taxi? Is she supposed to be rich? Have you got to be patient? Where has she gone? Wasn't he thinking of reading it? Who is thinking about studying that? Who did she decide to teach? What has she been studying? What was he supposed to learn? Who didn't know how to do it? What won't she be able to carry? Who didn't he get to talk to? Who was he thinking of dating? What could he do there? Where have they got to work? Who plans on pushing it? Didn't he try to pull it? Who got to watch it? What didn't she need to sell? What will she try to put on? Isn't she going to put it in that? What will she try to read? What will she try to read? Who didn't feel like taking it? Wasn't she going to be walking there? Who wasn't supposed to be exercising? She had better not drink that. What hasn't he been doing? What has she made? What have they planned to do? What has she tried to put on? Who have they wanted to help? What was she going to review? Weren't they supposed to practice it? Who wasn't he able to contact? Weren't they thinking of traveling there? Who will decide to tell her? Who didn't need to stay? What does she plan on sharing? Haven't they thought about it? Who is supposed to make a decision? Who won't they probably invite? What haven't they read? Where did she get to work? Who didn't come back to fix it? When will he know how to do it? Where was she thinking of moving to? When is she going to decide? What hasn't she got? Who shouldn't work? What will she be drinking? Who won't be coming back? Who needs to know? What didn't she have to finish? What doesn't she like eating? What has she got to take? Who knew how to explain it? Who was she supposed to call? What did she try to make? What wouldn't he like to give her? What was she going to be fixing? Who decided to clean it? Who plans on calling her? Who will be staying there? When has she got to return? Doesn't he like to play on the computer? Who was she thinking about taking a trip with? Where will she be sitting? Weren't they going to be coming in? Didn't he know how to type? Hasn't he been reading that? Who isn't going to be coming back? Who didn't try to exercise? When would she like to eat? Where has she got to go back to? What didn't she like doing? Who didn't plan on giving it to him? Didn't she decide to talk to her? She ought to tell them. Where will they probably meet? Who isn't she thinking of sending it to? Doesn't she want to drive there? Where won't he be able to run? What doesn't he feel like doing? What have they taught? Hasn't she gone to pick it up? Who did you plan on meeting? Couldn't they understand? What did she come back to get? Who has to do it? Weren't you thinking of mentioning it? Can't she walk there? When will they be able to try it? Who got to buy it? Where weren't they supposed to be? What won't he be doing? She better take him. Doesn't she plan on explaining it? Won't she come back to talk? What hasn't she been reading? Who was thinking of leaving? Where have they been? Didn't he need to be honest? Who was she supposed to be contacting? Doesn't she like drinking coffee? What weren't they able to understand? When should he have told her? Who got to go there? She ought to take him. Who won't be able to lift it? What was she going to be eating there? What does she plan on ordering? Isn't she able to walk? Who has got to answer it? What was he making? Who felt like believing that? Didn't you need to introduce her? Didn't they decide to purchase it? When should they leave? He had better not follow them. What couldn't they believe? Who was supposed to be coming back tonight? Did she know how to write Chinese? When were they supposed to be taking her? Weren't they thinking of showing it to her? Hasn't she got to make it? They had better not believe that. What haven't they been reading? Where did she like going out to eat? When have you seen her? Who were they going to be traveling with? Who likes being at home? Where weren't they able to walk?